Okay, friends, today is the day. I am finally making over my front porch, and I am gonna take a high-low approach. So you're gonna see some little splurge items mixed in with affordable treasures. And the star of the show are the world famous super ruffled pansies. And I cannot wait to show you these pansies. These are not just any pansies. They were bred in Japan, and they are literally going to be the star of this porch refresh. So here's where we are starting. And arguably, this is the most painful thing for me to do as a gardener, is to pull out a gorgeous container. However, I do want to note a couple of things. Well, first of all, how gorgeous is this container? This was my Proven Winners experiment. If you remember, about a month or so ago, I had one of my Calibrachoa die out in the middle. Well, I don't even feel like I needed to put anything else in there. It is still looking so good. However, there are a couple things that tell me it's time for a change. First and foremost, my Calibrachoa, its blooms are fading very, very quickly. In fact, we only have just a smattering around the edge. And then the other thing, our nighttime temperatures are dropping significantly. So I know that this little Plecanthus is not going to be happy for too much longer. So we're just going to rip some of this stuff out and we're going to start fresh. High-low approaches, we know them, we love them. You use them for clothes, for interior design, and you totally use it for landscape design as well. So with high and low, it's all about knowing where to spend your money, where to get that impact. And so I want to break down what I did when I was shopping for this front porch. So first and foremost, I have these adorable containers. They're kind of a concrete mixed product. So they're not super duper heavy, but they're not exactly lightweight. I was at Target. This big one is Threshold. It was $35. And this little guy was $25. And when you kind of look at these, I got two of the big and two of the little. At first, I was like, ooh, I'm spending a lot of money on containers for a front porch. But a couple things came into play. Number one, I know with both of these sizes, I can use them on a tablescape, and I can use these in a lot of different seasons outside. But then you know what happened? I got up to the register, and both of these were on clearance for 50% off. So immediately right there, a container, something I would usually splurge on, all of a sudden, half price. Hello, how about this for a steal? That's like money in the bank. This is garden math. I basically saved money. They gave these to me. That's how I like to think of it. So while I was intending a container to be an example of a high piece, this actually turned out to be a low piece, which is super duper awesome. Okay, shall we talk pumpkins next? I was at Costco and they had a giant bin of heirloom pumpkins. I could not believe I was finding blue pumpkins at Costco. So here's how I approached it. I basically dug through the entire bin like a crazy person and picked out blue pumpkins that were like $6 a piece, which is really good for an heirloom pumpkin. So what I did is I leveraged my local Costco that had this amazing deal on these really cool pumpkins. And I'm using that as I would say this is going to be the bulk of my pumpkins. So this is my low item. Then what I do is I march on over to the farm stand and I invest in just a few specialty pumpkins that's gonna make this collection feel really curated. I'm not spending $1 million on pumpkins, but I am gonna splurge on maybe like 2 or 3 specialty pumpkins to elevate the entire look. Okay, now we're gonna talk pansies because I am obsessed. If you have been living under a rock, and that's okay, no shade on living under a rock, but if you've been living under a rock, pansies are having a moment, and I'm here for it because pansies feel like my friend. I've been working with pansies so heavily for so long in my container work, and I feel like now they are rising to the fame they have always deserved. So enter Mr. Sato. Mr. Sato is an incredible Japanese breeder, and his work at this point in time has been pushed into the spotlight by an incredible, incredible woman. Her name is Brenna Estrada. I will link to her pansy book below. I literally went to go see her speak last weekend, and I was so inspired by the work she's doing in the world. And at that event, I purchased, drum roll please, the most expensive pansy. The most expensive pansy I have ever bought. But essentially, this is the work of Mr. Sato. He has brought two different varieties to the US for us to enjoy and purchase. There is this pansy, which is part of the Twilight collection. And then he also has another collection that is called Marie Antoinette. What's really fun is during Brenna's talk, she was talking about how in Japan, this is actually marketed as the Dracula collection. Hello, Halloween. It's so perfect. But they come in these beautiful, beautiful, dark, saturated tones. And the coloration on these is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I don't know how he has done this, but he has created something really magical. And he has sent it out in the world. And by the way, each one of these was $6.99. Now, that may not be super duper expensive to you, but your average pansy and viola, I'm usually out here buying it for about $2.99. And so for me to drop some coin on a $6.99 pansy, it's got to be special. And this one is special. Let me now introduce you to my low purchases, my saver items. And for this, I've gone with a pansy and I've gone with a viola. Now, you've seen me use this viola before. This is one of my favorite black violas. It is sorbet black and it is gorgeous. It's such a stand-up performer. However, I've also brought in a black pansy this time. And this is one called Atlas. And what I really love about this is you get just a little tiny baby ruffle, like a little hint, a little marrying point. Because on my sorbet black, we've got a very straight edge to our petal. On our Atlas, we're getting a teeny tiny ruffle. And then all of those things make way for Mr. Sato's absolute stroke of genius and lifelong work. Now what I'm going to do is dive in, and I think what I'm going to start with first is removing the elements I know are not going to withstand our cold temperatures for very much longer. So I always feel like your high-low items, whenever you're working with like a high item, you want to make that the star of the show. So in this case, if I'm splurging on like a super fancy pansy, I want that to be the center of attention. I want that to have the most impact. And so I'm really gonna save a place for that pansy in this pride of place right here in the middle. The other thing that I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna base my entire color scheme off of that pansy. And if you noticed, I'm using tons of blue pumpkins, and they're basically a spin off of that cool tone that you can find in that beautiful Twilight pansy. So I'm going to start bringing in some elements. So first things first, I spent a pretty obscene amount of money on pansies this weekend, even for me, but I really want my pansy to be front and center. I want it to be literally the star of the show. And also I'm basing my color palette off of this pansy. So if I just dissect this little bloom, there's some things I automatically know I'm going to bring in. I'm going to bring in some inky black, whether that is in a foliage or a floral. I also am looking at this thinking to myself, we have a really beautiful cool toned white coming through here. That is also another opportunity for me to bring in a white foliage piece or a white floral into this container. So I'm going to bring in my two inky black foliage items, and I'm going to show you why one is working and the other one really is not. Let's start with my black mondo grass. Black mondo grass, it's a great staple. If you are doing a container that you just don't want to futz with a whole lot, this is your jam. I started off by putting it here, but do you see how this thin blade, it almost is too close to the thin texture of my dichondra. I didn't like it over there. Over here, it actually, this color, it works better. This acts as a highlighter for my black mondo grass. However, this thin strappiness, it matches this kind of thin nature to the sedum. So I didn't like it there either. So then I brought in my heuchera. So here we are. This is a little 4-inch heuchera. It's called Black Taffeta. And immediately right here, do you see how this larger leaf, it balances the thin texture of this dichondra? Immediately, this is better. In fact, I put it over here immediately it is better there too. The other thing, I was just thinking purely color, but you can also repeat texture in a planter, which to me, texture, color, bringing all those elements together, it is so powerful when you're designing. And look at this, the ruffle of this black taffeta, it so closely resembles my pansy, and the two of them next together, they actually amplify one another. This is the choice. This is the choice for sure. The next thing I'm bringing in is this silver Senecio because I wanted to pop this nice white that you see around the edge of the pansy. And this, to me, this is starting to build a really great color story. However, I need some separation here because silver on silver, we're not doing that. It just provides too much of a colorful lump in one area. So instead, what I want to do is I want to bring in some nice deep green to break up all of these silver tones. And I'm going to do it a couple of different ways. So first things first, I actually think if I spent this much money on pansies, I want to see the pansy. And so I'm going to do something a little bit different for me. And I think I'm going to put all three of them right in the middle for this just amplified moment. What that allows me to do is it brings a green in between both of my silvers. Then I can bring in something like this sweet little heather that will anchor this end, provide another texture. You'll notice I have it pretty far away from my sedum because look, if I get these suckers up close, they're too closely matched. I need contrast in every single one of my arrangements that I do. And so far, this is feeling really good. The one item that is really left over for me is I wanted to bring in a bit of a black pansy. And so one thought is I could bring my black around this side again by bringing in a little viola. I could also do the same thing. Again, we've got some dark foliage here, bringing it all the way around. That is really nice too. I think what I need to do is I want to step back and I want to take my arrangement in from a distance and I want to take a look at it from like 15 feet away because this is going to be a focal point when people come to my front door. So I'm going to pop out and check my work and then I will report back. Verdict is in, the pansy wins. I'm going to get this container planted up and then we're going to move right along because we have pumpkins to arrange and more pots to fill. I forgot one inexpensive item that makes a huge, huge difference. I keep several bags of this kind of dried preserved moss on hand because here's what you do. You bring just a teeny tiny little touch of this moss in and immediately it finishes a container. I mean, like without question, this automatically, it brings additional greenery to the container. It actually helps with moisture retention. So for me, this is an inexpensive item that automatically elevates everything that you do. First part of the high-low is complete. And now I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start moving in my planters along with my huge array of pumpkins. Friends, not bad for a little after work glow up. I am really loving this high-low mix because I feel like I spent my money in the right places. I didn't go totally overboard. And a lot of these elements I can reuse in garden beds. I can reuse in future pots. And the little Target planters that are so stinking cute, those I can recycle at Christmas time, Easter, and so on into the future. Obviously starting here with the most expensive pansy I've ever purchased, but honestly, worth its weight in gold. Gorgeous, gorgeous Twilight series from Mr. Sato out of Japan. And then we're going to contrast it down here where I filled one of these sweet little containers with some basic run-of-the-mill $2.99 violas. Again, high, low. I can spend a lot of impact here and it's about the same as one of those pansies. And then even looking down here, we've got Costco, And then this is my specialty pumpkin. Same thing down here. We've got a Costco. This was another Costco in this like 6-pack. And here we are, really, really unusual specialty gourd. Over on this side, if you are new here, I love an asymmetrical arrangement to my front porch. I feel like it just matches the asymmetry of my landing. And here on the left, we've got that specialty pumpkin. And over on the right, a gorgeous blue pumpkin from Costco. And this white one was part of that 6-pack. This heuchera is actually one called Spellbound. And this is one I can easily divide and throw out in the landscape after the season has passed. And then in the back, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm not going to go out and purchase new lanterns just for a YouTube video. I'm going to use what I have, and I'm going to put new batteries in those sweet little battery-operated candles. It is officially getting dark out. I'm going to go inside and make dinner, but high-low front porch using natural elements, splurging in areas, saving in others, and altogether a super welcoming porch for the upcoming holiday season. Okay, I'm gonna see you in the next one, and in the meantime, say hello to your garden for me.